Hello, everyone. Welcome to another Post-Maafa Reconstruction episode. Thank you for joining us here this Wednesday. We are live every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Arizona Mountain Standard Time. Um, I am Tahuti Forever. I am the Jati of Phoenix, Banu, and I'm also the architect of MelaNation Co. The MelaNation app will be coming sooner than you think. We're working on it every day and every night. We're making things look better and better and more user friendly every day. I am joined today with our co-host, Miss Lizzie Woody. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, this is Lizzie Woody, longtime resident here in Arizona, out and about in the community sharing information as to what we're doing here and trying to connect us as a people. So, welcome, welcome.
Yes, indeed. We have a very special guest speaker today, and I want to go ahead and make sure that he has the link to join us here at 6:30 for the MelaNomics segment. Give me 1 second to verify that he has this link here. But he is a very special guest speaker that we have here today, Mr. Kaba Kamene. He is one of our elders in the community, and he has done a lot of work in our community. So let's make sure he does have the link here. 1 second. Miss Lizzie, did you say that there were some events that were coming around due to Juneteenth?
Well, yeah, there's quite a few Juneteenth events that's happening this month, and I'll share a couple with you. And you can always go to my Facebook page, which is Lizzie Woody. They are listed there. And the first one I'd like to tell you about is the East Valley Juneteenth Eve celebration. Um, it is at the Post-Mesa, 26 North McDonald Street in Mesa, Arizona. Excuse me. Um, I'm trying to read my cell phone here, so be
Right.
patient with me.
I mean, and Juneteenth is really good that the community does come out, and we have so many beautiful events. There's so many beautiful activities, family activities, and the opportunity to learn our history and just be in fellowship with one another. So, I love Juneteenth. This is always a great time. In Arizona, it's pretty hot in June, but we do find ways of trying to stay cool while we're gathering. So these events are very important to us, and they really give us a sense of community.
Absolutely. Also, let me just get this one out. This is a Black Cowboy cookout for Juneteenth. That will be at the Robinson Ranch on the 19th of June at 6 p.m. The address is 1231 East Ardmore Road, Phoenix. And this is a Black-owned ranch that is really, it's within a neighborhood that you wouldn't even know it was there. And it's called the Robinson Ranch. Um, and I think this is probably their second time having a Juneteenth celebration. Um, so if you can make it out there, please do. As I said, go to my Facebook page, Lizzie Woody. That information is posted out there.
Okay. So, MelaNation is a community-driven company. You can find us on YouTube at MelaNation App. You can find us on Facebook at MelaNation App. And if you want to send donations, you can donate to the Cash App, $MelaNation App. And at this time, I'll go ahead and show our brief commercial that explains exactly what MelaNation is the project that we're working on here.
Economics. Our mission is to empower and uplift our community, both online and in the physical world where birds fly. Interestingly, your monthly vote steers the direction of the company. Introducing MelaNation, a cutting-edge TV and an internet platform. It's making its way to the world stage with over 400 pages of state-of-the-art features. Features include movie streaming, a production studio for influencers where your production will be displayed through the television, a dating site that can be accessed through the TV, a Google Maps-powered satellite mapping system for registered Black-owned businesses and entertainment, making it easier for you to locate the community near you, and much more. We're bringing everything the community needs under one roof in order to build the proper infrastructure across the nation. Learn more on the Facebook page, family. The time is now for your participation to shape the direction of this community-powered company. The financial investment has already been made, meaning we are not asking you for donations. All we need is a little effort from you to make this vision a reality. Getting the community to share amongst each other is a crucial part of the plan. Join us by following our Facebook page and sharing our mission with others. It's quick, easy, and free. Let's work together to build a brighter, melanated economy. The most efficient way to share.
All right. So that is the project that we're working on. We are now in the alpha phase. So some of us have actually downloaded the apps to our phones, and we are testing the app out now, and we're updating the developers on what we would like to see changed going forward. So we are making progress, and we do have the app downloaded to our phones at this time. Yes, indeed.
And that is melanation.co, right? That's the website.
The website, I'm definitely going to go over to melanation.co. But however, what I'm mentioning right now is the downloadable version of the app directly to our Android phones. So we do have that. We have the downloadable versions our phones where you can just go into your apps in your phone and you can pull up the MelaNation app. So not all of us has downloaded it to our phones as of yet, but that was released a few days ago. It was released to the community. Let me go ahead and go over to the melanation.co page. One moment. melanation.co. Okay, family, this is melanation.co. You can log on to this now from your phone or your computer. Every MelaNation starts with you. Mela Community is a powerful all-in-one platform designed to connect, empower, and elevate global melanated communities. From working and business growth to content and event and opportunities, everything lives in one ecosystem. Why the Mela Community? Built for community, powered by opportunity. Mela Community is not just another social media app. It is a digital platform where culture, commerce, and collaboration come together. Whether you're a creator or entrepreneur, professional, or community leader, this is your home. Give me one moment. I'll be right back. All right, are you able to hear me, Miss Lizzie?
You're back. Yes.
Fantastic. I had to take off for just a second. But yeah, so this is melanation.co. And what we've done is we've put together over 400 pages of state of the art features. And we are bringing the entire community under one ecosystem. That is the point. What we're doing is we're going to we're going to receive stimulus amounts in order to uplift the community on a monthly basis. This money is going to go towards things. This money is going to be put in the hands of our delegates, and the delegates are going to make the decisions on what the community needs to invest in. That is the point of our community. That's the point of our ecosystem, is to uplift one another. We do have movies where you can download the app to your television, and we utilize entertainment as a strategy gateway to reach the community at large. Cultural draws us in, but consciousness keeps us together. Through shared stories, music, and creativity, we gather the people, transforming attention into alignment and participation into purpose. Galvanizing the community is not a slogan, it's a mechanism for empowerment. And like I mentioned, we have many, many different features. We have movies. We have the ability to create your own content through Mela Studios. We have Mela Market. We have dating. We have messaging. You can call each other through the app, in-app messaging as well. We have a learning center where you can find teachers and teachers can find students. We have job centers where you can find employment. We're trying to make sure that we have every tool that's needed in our community under one ecosystem. One of my favorite tools is actually the map that's powered by Google. It's a registration. Let's see if I can, give me a moment. Let me go ahead and pull up the actual, actually give me 1 second. Let me speak to Kaba. Miss Lizzie, I am going to send the link to Kaba again. He just got off the phone with me.
I'm I'm sorry. Say that again.
I'm going to send the link over to Kaba again. He just got off the phone with me, and I just want to make sure he has the link here.
Oh, okay.
Meanwhile, is there any other events that we can update the community on?
And that's exactly what I'm doing. I apologize for that. I'm looking for. Uh, I don't know if the community is aware of spaces of opportunity. That is where there's a garden that's in the community that I believe Bridget Pettis has a lot to do with that. But on June the 21st at 9 a.m., there's it's Make Music Day, a Juneteenth weekend, and Father's Day celebration with the same time. And the spaces of opportunity is it's 1200 West Vineyard Road, 1200 West Vineyard Road in Phoenix, Arizona. So if you can get by and just check them out, that would be fantastic. They do a lot of community outreach in that area.
Yes, indeed. I'm very familiar with Spaces of Opportunity. The Shrine of Banu here is right around the corner. I can literally go out into the front yard and toss a football, and it'll be really close to the Space of Opportunity. That area has, we've done so many events in that area, beautiful events, gardening events, and just coming together in fellowship. So that's a place that I think everyone should join. You're able to actually rent plots and plant seeds. They have irrigation systems where the community can come together for gardening. And it's a very beautiful place. Brother Tremikas has a plot there, and I helped him tend the soil when I can. But yeah, definitely Spaces of Opportunity. Shout out to Spaces of Opportunity.
Absolutely.
All right, that being said, let me go back over here to our webpage. So yes, we have over 400 pages. Let's see if I can pull up the actual, what's the word I'm looking for, Miss Lizzie?
Prototype?
Prototype. Let's see if I can pull up the prototype. Let's see, 1 second. Where's our community?
Well, while you're doing that, also the Carver Museum, one of our precious facilities, they have a Juneteenth celebration coming up as well. Um, it's beginning with a traditional African liberation ceremony led by Professor Gershom Williams. And this is Saturday. Actually, it is Saturday, the 13th of June at 10 a.m. The address is 415 East Grant Street, Phoenix, Arizona. That is the Carver Museum, the old high school from many, many years ago for a lot of our citizens. Um, that's where that's where the black folks went to school at. So if you can get by there, whether it's Juneteenth or not, to go by and learn more about the museum.
Yes, indeed. There's a lot of events that we have in our community that helps us learn and educate us. So everyone should definitely be a part of these events if they are in the area. Let's see, can I enlarge this screen? Yes, I can. What I'm looking at now is the prototype to melanation.co. So let me go ahead and show you this prototype. We were discussing the virtual map. We bring Miss Lizzie back in here. There she is.
Okay, I think something.
I might have pushed the wrong button, or we might have had a bad connection. I'm not sure.
Okay.
But what I was doing is I was bringing up the map system, the Google Map system. And what this does is it allows you to search for Black-owned registered businesses in your area. You can search by Mela users, which are melanated people who are users of the app. You can search by businesses, events, jobs, market. You can actually search for your own family members on here, verified users, and you can create your own posts on the map. Now, what will happen is your post will show up on the map and people can search for your business or your event. So this map is a very useful tool for finding Black people in your area. But yes, we have many, many different tools at our disposal. And we're bringing everyone under one ecosystem so that we can have economics, superior economics. Yes, indeed. Let me go ahead and stop sharing the screen here. A lot of people are familiar with Kaba Kamene, and he will certainly be joining us very soon. Was that all for your announcements as far as Juneteenth at this point? Oh, Miss Lizzie, you're muted.
No, I was looking for a couple of other ones.
You definitely have a lot of events, listed there. You
Which is a
definitely
good
do your
thing.
due diligence.
It is a good thing because, you know, that tells you that people are doing things, but a lot of people just don't know about it.
Right.
And this is an opportunity to share that information, to the community.
This is true. Because our app, the MelaNation app, is not due to launch until September 15th, 2027. So we have some time to complete our work. And this is a super app. So there is a lot of work that does need to be done. And we still have our ears open. We have our ears open to the community. If you have any suggestions, best practices, any input that you would like to share, our ears are definitely open. We're listening, and we're looking forward to inputting anything that will make our company, our community stronger. So if you have suggestions, text them in the comments. Put the suggestions in the comments, and I'll go ahead and throw them on screen, and we'll address the suggestion that you have. Now, we are investing in the community through the MelaNation app. So September 15th, 2027, we will be here. So, yes.
Let me
Go ahead.
go. No, I have another. I have another event. This is not a Juneteenth event, but I think it's an event that most of us have probably had never heard of, the Black Therapists in Arizona. And this is a unique gathering, offers an opportunity to meet Black mental health professionals and gain practical insights to manage stress and anxiety in difficult times. And this event is in July the 18th, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. It's at the Holiday Inn Hotel and Suite in Phoenix, 3220 South 14th Street. So if you've never heard of the Black therapists, we have them, and this is an opportunity to get out and meet them and understand better, how they are serving the community.
Right. Yes, indeed. That's another great event that we can definitely attend. And I know you were saying that there are classes that people are unaware of at locations like the South Mountain College that you attend from time to time. Is that correct?
South Mountain Community College, they have different classes on Mondays at noon. You know, different classes as far as um, totally went blank.
I mean, it's really good that this information gets out, because there are people who need certain tools at their disposal, and they may not know that there are resources that you can be taught these things for free. You know,
Oh,
a lot of people
absolutely,
don't know.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Um, the you know, like Google, um,
They teach technical
email.
skills. Technical skills.
I'm sorry.
I've said that they teach technical courses at South Mountain Community College.
They are minimal because you know they're just kind of basic skills that they're teaching on Mondays at noon. You know how to do emails, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Canva, they give you basics of Canva and some other platforms as far as social media.
And there are no cost to these things.
No, totally free, totally free.
That's a beautiful thing.
And that's South Mountain Community College.
So a lot of people don't know why we decided to call this company or the app MelaNation. And the main reason why that is we've become complacent with the names that the oppressors have given us. They called us Negro, they've called us minorities, they called us Black. And we've turned those terms into phrases of endearment. And at this point, we have the ability to name ourselves. And having the ability to name ourselves, we get to decide what characteristics we want to be known by. So melanation is one of the terms that gives us a direction as far as who we are as a people. I would also like to submit the name original people, because we are the original people on the planet. I like to submit the concept of calling ourselves authentic, because we are the authentic people of the planet. These terms are terms that our oppressors would have never given us. They give us terms as Black. What a lot of people don't understand is that the concept of Black is a misnomer, is false, it is incorrect, it is not true. There are no Black people on this planet. There are shades of brown, lighter shades of brown, darker shades of brown. The concept of Black is actually simply a phrase that was created in order to create racism, in order to say people of darker toned skin are able to be enslaved, but if you are lighter toned skin, you will be a slave master. And what I just learned recently is that what we consider Mexican is a nationality, it is not a race, but what we consider Mexican are actually white people. I just looked that up. So the way you figure it is this way. Because it's a nationality, if you're born in Mexico, then that makes you Mexican. If you're my skin tone and you're born in Mexico, you are Mexican. However, if you're from the Spaniard and you're a lighter skin tone, you are Hispanic. You're still Mexican because you're born in Mexico, but Spaniards are considered white. So what we consider to be Mexican are also considered to be white. And what happens is over time, different races and nationalities have gone over to the classification of white. There are actually case studies in court where certain people who were not originally classified as white joined the white race, which strengthened the white race. And all they really said was that people of darker skin could not join that race and were considered to be less than human, 5%, 3/5 of a human, and were able to be enslaved. That's what the term black means. And the name Negro is just Latin for the term black. So when you say Negro, you're still saying black. The problem is that black means that we're less than human. We're 3/5 of human. And white means that they're superior to us. So when we're using these terminologies, even though we're saying that black is beautiful, black is power, black power, we're still just using the terms in a way that makes us look better. But what we need to do is throw the term completely out of the window, because when it was created as a means of suppression. So James Brown, I'm Black and I'm Proud, we got on board with it. And over the years, our name changed from Negro to Black, Colored. We went through all of these different names. None of those titles or concepts address who we are as a people. So at this point, we have the ability to create our own concepts, but to create our own name. We have those abilities. So I suggest to call ourselves authentic. Our oppressors would never call us authentic because it puts us on a different pedestal, right? They want to call us minority because that lowers us as a people. But if we call ourselves authentic, they're going to be like, well, they understand the reason because we are the authentic humans on the planet, right? We are the originals, right? And
Okay.
in order to call ourselves that, that gives us an empowered position, which they do not want us in, right? So that's why we call ourselves, call the app MelaNation, is because we're using our own terminology, and we're not going to allow the oppressors to continue to say, that we're black, which is a system of oppression. The word itself is racist in itself. There is no such thing as a black nationality. Those are two completely separate things. One is a social construct. Somebody just imagined black as a thing and started throwing people in it. So we're not going to allow that to transpire anymore. And I'm just really waiting on Kaba to come through. Meanwhile, what I'll do is we'll go ahead and go over the prototype.
I have another event, if I have time.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. It says the Arizona or AZ Rhythm and Jazz Fest on June the 20th from 12 p.m. to 5 p.m. It's at the Kroc Center or the Kroc Performing Arts Center, 1375 East Broadway Road, Phoenix, Arizona. And that's really just kind of off of 16th Street and Broadway. And it's hosted by the Platform Media Group. And I believe Miss Arlen Thompson is one of the head people that's involved with this. So June the 20th at the Kroc Center. cannot hear you.
Interestingly,
Can you hear me?
yes. So Marjorie and Kaba have created a different link to the StreamYard. So that's very interesting. Let me go ahead and send them this new updated link. Give me 1 second. Was that your final event that you had to tell the community here?
Right now, yes.
All right, one moment.
Okay. So what's going on?
I am sending Kaba a different link.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going to send Marjorie a different link as well. This is the first that we actually had two separate StreamYards going at the same time. I'm not sure exactly what happened, but it's going to be interesting to figure that out. But Marjorie and Kaba have been on StreamYard, on a different StreamYard, speaking with each other. So that's very interesting. We're going to get them on here in a moment. But yes, that being said, the reason why we call this channel the Post-Maafa Reconstruction is because the term Maafa, it refers to basically the Black tragedy, which it includes slavery, the transatlantic slave trade. It includes redlining, where people of melanated descent, the original people on the planet, were unable to buy or purchase land, housing in certain districts based on their skin color. Jim Crow laws, colonialism, these tragedies that's been occurring to our people over the years, we call that the Ma'afa. So at this point, we're proclaiming that we are no longer going to be, we're no longer going to be held down by those type of events. systematic racism. We're no longer going to allow those things to detour us and make us not successful. Okay, looks like we have Kaba on stage now. Hello, welcome, welcome, Kaba.
Peace, family.
Peace, peace, peace. Thank you for joining us. I know there was a bit of confusion. We had two different StreamYards going up, and I take full responsibility for that. I think I know exactly what happened now that I'm thinking it through, but I am definitely happy to have you here to speak to the audience and give us the jewels that you have.
I look forward to it. I thank you for this invitation. Looking forward to this conversation.
Okay, let me go ahead and introduce you properly by bringing up your bio. Family Kaba Hawatha Kamene was born in New York Hospital on Monday, November 16, 1953. Since 2011, Kaba Hawatha has starred in several critically acclaimed documentaries such as Tariq Nasheed's Hidden Color 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, in 1804 Hidden History of the Haitian Revolution. In addition, he is featured in narrator of the hit documentary Out of Darkness and Heavy is the Crown by Amundez Christ, as well as starring Elementary, Genocide, Black Friday 1 and 2, and Damon Dash Secret to Ballin'. Damon Dash Secret to Ballin' with Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, Wu-Tang Clan, Faith Evans, Dr. Michael Beckwith, and other entertainment community icons. Kaba Kawata, voice, speech, writing, and narrative have been performed in independent productions as Norivian Doom by Haru and Doom, titled Om. He's also featured writer and performer in Wu-Tang Clan's Ep. The saga continues. Track titled Message to, he collaborated with Kashi Mazik on his own two EPs titled From Chaos to Order and My Amor. Kaba Kawata received his bachelor's degree in entertainment politics from New York University with a minor in Caribbean Studies, June 1977. He earned his first Master of Art World History from Hunter College and received his second Master of Science in Educational Administration and Supervision of College of New York, February 1988. Kaba Kawata has been a Pan-African, African-centered educator, consultant, administrator, staff developer, and curriculum writer for over 70 years. He has taught every grade level from pre-K to 12 in New York City Department of Education for over 31 years, from October 1979 to July 2009. Has been a college professor in the Black Studies Department at State University of New York and New Paltz for 12 years, from following spring 2004 to 2016. Over Kaba Hawata's long career in education, he has consulted many Board of Education schools, communities, parents, students, groups. His greatest experience has been his many classroom visitations around the world, implementing successful strategies in teaching learning process. He is firmly dedicated to the belief that culture plays vital important role in education, and he's credited many of his academics' views to his teaching world-renowned educator, Professor John Henry Clark. Kaba Kawata has written many educational curricula, guides, and collaborated with teams in creating many guides. He co-authored a book, My Amor, with Kashi Mazik, and has authored a biography on the architect of American African Study Guide, honoring William Leo Hansberry. Baba Kawata lives in New York with his wife, Sharon, of 37 years, and has lived and have two daughters, Sasha Madeline, Candice Deanna, and one son, Haru. Their children have followed in their parents' footsteps and worked in fields that serve humanity and the community. Kaba Hawata Kamene's motto is no distraction, keep on keeping it on, like keep on keeping on it. Wait, it ain't over till we win. It ain't over till we win. Welcome, Mr. Kaba Kamene.
My brother Tehuti, forever thank you so much for the invitation.
Yes, indeed.
And to my sister Marjorie and sister Lizzie, we were in contact. Yes. Looking forward.
Welcome, welcome.
So before you give us that information that we all are here to listen, let me ask you just a few opening questions here. You are a very renowned person, very well known in our community, but I don't know if everyone knows your origin story. Can you tell us what your origin story is? How did you get into this field?
The way I got into this field was basically as an educator. Here in New York City, as you had mentioned earlier, I've taught in the New York City Board of Ed for 31 years, and I've taught every grade, I've taught every subject. My motivation was Professor John Henry Clark, who had recommended that we really do need to get into curricular writing. When I said to him, how do you think I can best support our community? He told me that curricular writing is very important. And one of the things that I've been able to study, inspired by the great scholar from California, Dr. Wade Nobles, is to understand the difference between intent and content. Intent is methodology. How do you teach? Content is what you teach.
Right.
And as educators, even as parents, as people, it's important that we know the difference between the two. I've had the distinct pleasure of visiting many African-centered schools. The challenge is, as beautiful as their heart is, and as honest as their intentions are, they're teaching content material through a Western methodology. And by that I mean the original brain, the African brain, because there's only one brain, and that's the African brain. There's only one race, and that's the human race, and that human race is African. It is melanated. It is a melanation, so to speak. So that what I found out with our children, working with our children for over 31 years, is that we are a whole brain people. I know we have these concepts of the left brain and the right brain, but in reality, we are whole brain learners. I'll give you an example of what I mean. When I taught first grade, we know that the left side of your brain is where your analytical brain lives. The left side of your brain is your mathematician, your scientist, your reasoning skills. The right side of your brain is your analogical brain. That is your artist, your musician. And many times, Western civilization has divided the curriculum up into what's called the arts and sciences. To give you an example of what I'm talking about, when I taught first grade mathematics, I give them 10 problems. The 10 problems is addition. 1 plus 2 equals, 2 plus 4 equals.
Okay.
Now, when they solve that problem, 1 plus 2 equals 3, that's the left side of their brain. That's their mathematician.
Okay.
And so, as part of their homework, I would give them, let's say 1 plus 2 equals, and they have to answer it. But I would also tell them, after you answer that question, after you find out what 1 plus 2 is, I want you to draw it. They could draw 1 banana plus 2 banana equal 3 bananas. So they could solve the problem by drawing bananas.
Mm-hmm.
When they're drawing, they are now using the right side of their brain. You have a band of muscles, cells that go across the top of your head, and it's called your corpus callosum. Your corpus callosum is what connects the left side of your brain to the right side of your brain. So that when they would solve the problem, 1 plus 2 equals 3, when I asked them to then draw it, I literally took the information that they got from the left side of the brain and it was transferred over to the right side of the brain. Mm-hmm. So they solved one problem, but they used their whole brain. That's just an example of what I mean when I say we're whole brain thinkers. So that when we're in math class, what we don't realize is that we are containing our children into one side of their brain, as opposed to exposing them to the larger part of their brain. I'll give you another example. In math class, they will study rate times time equals distance.
Mm-hmm.
I'm leaving New York at a certain time, going down to DC. I'm expected to be there in 3 hours and 20 minutes. The rate that the train is traveling times the time that it's traveling determines its distance. Now, the train is stopped in Baltimore, and it has to wait there for 20 minutes, which means that the time of arrival may change. So the question is, how much quicker will the train have to travel in order to get to the destination in 3 hours and 20 minutes?
Right.
That's rate times time equals distance.
Right.
Kwame take a test in rate times time equals distance in the 5th grade. Kwame gets 8 incorrect in math out of 10.
Mm.
He got 2 correct, 8 incorrect. He's told he failed the test. He got 20 out of 100. Kwame, not feeling good about himself, when he goes home, goes to the basketball court, and he starts to shoot hoops. Kwame's good. He gets the ball into the hoops. But nobody ever told Kwame for him to get that ball in the hoop, he had to perform the equation,
Right.
rate times time equals distance.
Shame.
Oh, right.
So that what I used to do is bring the gym teacher and the math teacher together, and I would have them coordinate so that when the teacher was teaching math, rate times time equals distance, the gym teacher was teaching rate times time equals distance on the basketball court.
Right.
That's good.
Whole brain.
Whole brain.
So was it that Kwame didn't understand and he failed that test? No. The way in which you asked him to bring that information to you was in one form.
Mm-hmm.
But on the basketball court, he was better at math than some of the students were in math class.
Mm-hmm.
Shame.
Whole brain.
Yeah, so we're a different type of people. We learn visually, actively, hearing, and a lot of times the curriculums that we're in doesn't give us the tools that we need to integrate the information.
Not at all.
So let me ask you, I understand that you've been teaching for over 31 years, at least from the point that I read your bio. I'm sure it's been more years than that as of now. But as a person, as Kaba Kamene, what is it about you that made you connected to the community?
Muntu.
Muntu. Oh, I'm about to learn something new. Okay.
Okay. I am, it's a South African phrase. word, and it means I am because you are.
Ashe.
Since you are, therefore I am.
Therefore I am.
And so it becomes important that we realize that we are all reflections of each other. It's like an ocean. And then that ocean is comprised of drops of water. So the question becomes, what part of the drop of water isn't in the ocean, and what part of the ocean isn't a drop of water? We are all interconnected. And one of the things that nature teaches us is you can't do one thing to one thing and not think it's not coming back to us. This is one of the principles of Ma'at, reciprocity. What goes around comes around. You shall reap what you sow. What you give is what you will get. And so the success of the early African societies was based on that concept. This is what Ma'at is. Truth, justice, balance, harmony, order, arrangement, reciprocity. These are the principles of Ma'at. And the principles of Tehuti, who is her counterpart, is knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Ma'at is the path of the cosmic reality.
Ashe.
Tehuti is the knowledge that puts you on the path. Without Tehuti, you can't be on Ma'at. And without Ma'at, you cannot have Tehuti. I am because of our community. It takes a village to raise a child. But people leave off that second part, which is it takes a child to raise a village.
That's good. That is good.
So now we're talking about villages and tribes and people and community. These terms for our people are not always clear. We're not always clear who or what we're talking about. What would you say is the best identifier for the melanated community?
For me, it would be a human being.
Ashe.
Period.
That's deep.
And how I interact with you. You see, this is where the Western world got off track. Because Indo-Europeans are Africans.
Ashe.
There's only one race on the planet. That's the human race.
Right.
And it was conceived, born, nurtured, sustained, educated, technologized, and civilized in Africa, specifically the Twa Mbuti Khoisan people of Central and Southern Africa. These were the first human beings that came out of who we call Homo sapiens sapiens. The short-statured people that we derogatorily call pygmies.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Ashe.
They are the ones that set the pace. They were the ones that gave birth to the Cushites, to the Kemites, to the Ghanaians, to the Nigerians, to the indigenous American, to the Japanese, to the Filipino, Vietnamese, and they peopled the planet.
Ashe.
And for thousands of years, they were the only human beings on the planet. Now, that's hard for some people to understand and accept, because in the Western world, they suffer from an inferiority complex. Let me spell inferior for you. I-N-F-E-A-R. I-O-R-I-T-Y. Inferiority. The African that morphed into who we call Indo-Europeans suffer from a deep state of xenophobia,
Correct. Ashe.
fear of the foreign, fear of what doesn't look like you, because as Dr. Francis Cress Welsing has taught us, they suffer from genetic annihilation.
Ah.
That brings up another question that I can pose as far as where is the concept of race? Because the concept of the human race that you're describing, there's a flip side of it that was invented.
Yes.
So I want to ask you about the concept of race. How did this come about?
Well, it came about through, and it really didn't exist until the 1800s, as it related to how it has been perceived in the world we're living in today. Because part of the melanated nations' problem is they saw all human beings as equals,
Ashe.
and they respected.
Yeah.
But there are some people with calcified pineal glands that have spent their life in the Ice Age that do not understand that kindness is not weakness.
Hmm.
They don't understand that. They come with an Ice Age mentality. And so with that mentality, they don't understand a simple concept that ushered in a whole new way for the human family to interact. It's called sharing.
Hmm.
Sharing. Sharing was the one act that civilized the Twa and Mbuti Khoisan people. Because when you're at that, let's call it a savage state, see, because there's savage, barbarian, and civilized. And African people went through all phases. The idea is that when you look at the animal world, they're very protective over what it is. Many times they don't share, unless it's mother and baby.
Ah.
But other than that, as a group, they don't share. They possess, and they will not share. That's an animalistic quality. But when you become civilized, you realize you're in the warmth of Africa. Mangoes and fruits and vegetables. You've come accustomed to when a mango fall out the tree, nature will put another one in its place.
Right.
And so when somebody comes by your place where you have a mango tree, they say, do you mind if I partake of your mango? And as one human to another, you say, sure.
Mm-hmm.
And the person that gets the mango doesn't hoard it, doesn't start stuffing mangoes in their pockets. They just take what they need for that moment,
Right.
for what they're hungry for.
Ashe.
Because they know when they get down the block, there's someone else that may have apples or oranges.
Right.
And they'll say, can I participate in your apples?
So I want to address the elephant in the room from the conversation that I'm getting from you as an elder. I'm a younger man, okay? I'm a young man, and you seem to have developed the mindset that I wish everyone had. We're going through a lot of struggles, and there's a lot of things that need to be addressed for me to get to your mindset, okay? For me to get to where you are as a fulfilled person. I'm still struggling with some of the atrocities that our people have gone through, right? So I might not want to do that type of sharing at this point until we got some justice going, some ma'at going on.
Huh. You know,
Go ahead.
I was going to say that crossed my mind when he was saying about sharing, because I don't like to share. If I have something, I don't want to share with you. I want to get you your own. You can't have mine. I'll get you yours.
Yes. So he's describing a very mature outlook, and it gives me a certain feeling. It's hard for me to pinpoint the feeling. Kaba, I hope you can pinpoint the feeling that I'm trying to express, but I don't want to let anyone off the hook. Okay? I won't I want an adjustment to be made for our suffering.
Well, let me adjust my statement. Because,
Okay.
sister, I don't want to share either. I am presenting to you a model civilization.
Right.
We're not there right now.
Ashe.
The love, respect, and sharing that we had with Indo-Europeans, okay? Let me take it back. The love, sharing, and understanding that we had with our own people who thought like us is what built the pyramids.
Ashe.
When we had that same love, sharing, and understanding with Indo-Europeans, that's what put us on the plantation.
Ooh.
Yes.
So I want to be careful what I'm saying. I am setting up an ideal concept to understand the early human beings and what made them so great.
Okay.
But the reality of it is, family, we ain't there now.
Ashe.
And we're not dealing with people that understand sharing. And like I said, they see kindness as weakness.
Mm-hmm. I follow you.
They're an ice age mentality. They have caused great pain all over the world, wherever they have gone.
That's right.
They have brought pain to the people.
Ashe.
So what I am saying is a model that we should always put in the back of our head,
Mm-hmm.
so that when we get back to where we can act like that, we have a model as to how to do it.
Ashe.
But until then, homie, don't play that.
Okay.
What would you say are the most important initial steps to begin the process of healing the community?
Love yourself.
Love yourself. Ashe.
That's the first
My
step.
philosophy.
First step. Love yourself. Because
Yeah.
when you love yourself, you'll know yourself.
Right.
And when you know yourself, you'll control yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's discipline.
Right.
We
And
need a work ethic.
Yeah. And when other people do little things or big things, it doesn't bother you so much when you love yourself. You can look over that stuff. You know, they're down beneath you and you're up here. You know, that's a saying of mine is I love me some me. Got to start with yourself first.
You cannot love someone else if you don't love yourself.
Right.
It may be a different emotion, but it's not love. You must love yourself.
Ashe.
And when you look in the mirror, you have to love who you see.
That's right.
Because you are the creator having a human experience.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to understand, creator don't make a mistake. I had children in my classrooms that used to say, Brother Booker T, that was my name prior to my correction in 2002. Young sister, beautiful sister. She said to me, Brother Booker T, my nose is too big. And I said, well, honey, can you breathe? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, your nose is just the right size. The creator doesn't make mistakes. Whatever your nose, the shape of your nose, the width of your lips, the texture of your hair, the melanin in your skin, you have to love that.
Yeah.
And, like I liken it, see, because children can understand this. I say somebody gives you a gift and they got it wrapped. And that wrapping is absolutely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do with the gift? They say, well, I'm going to open it up. And I say, that's right, because the gift is what's inside, not how it's wrapped.
Right.
Ashe.
We are in a society that has created the boundaries of what beauty is.
Mm-hmm.
And many times it goes away from everything we look like. And when you look in the mirror and you see your skin, I used to tell my children, because I used to teach them about melanin. I taught it to them through biology. My book, Carbon Before Melanin, deals with the curriculum that I developed. How do you teach children? What's the method of teaching children about melanin? And I used to, at the end, they basically came to understand that it makes no difference and see, there's no such thing as complexion. There's no such thing as being light-skinned. You're either melanated or you're not.
Ashe.
You're pigmented or you're not.
Ashe.
You don't have a light complexion or a dark complexion. You either have melanin or you don't. But not just that. Because you see, the opposite thing has happened also for so many of our brothers and sisters who may not be well melanated in the skin. Because you have eumelanin within your body. You have neuromelanin in your brain. Your skin is the largest organ on your body.
Right.
And so therefore you have melanin there. But if you didn't have melanin in your lungs, you couldn't breathe. If you didn't have it in your respiratory system, if you didn't have it in your circulatory system, your blood wouldn't flow. If you didn't have it in your respiratory system, you couldn't breathe. If you didn't have neuromelanin in your brain, you couldn't think. If you didn't have it in your reproductive system, you could not reproduce. Melanin is the mothership. It is a catalyst that moves the body through the process. Everything in nature has melanin, and those things that don't have melanin are what's considered to be albinoid. There are albino lions. There are albino squirrels. There's albino plants. And they have melanin, but they cannot produce it at the rate that the original African people are able to produce it. Because if you didn't have it in your eyes, you couldn't see. If you didn't have it in your ears, you couldn't hear. If you didn't have it in your tongue, you couldn't taste. So you have melanin, but it's the ability to produce it at your will. And the original people were given that gift. But we can't, as a melanated people, transfer that into a superiority thought that because you're melanin, you are superior. That's not correct either. The scientific term is not superior or inferior. The scientific term is dominant or recessive gene.
Ashe. Ashe.
That's science. And when you're melanated, you have the dominant gene. The black woman can produce every type of human being on the planet.
Right.
But no other group, Asian or European, can produce a black child.
Right. Let me ask, what would you say are the biggest challenges to the melanated movement to overcome the obstacles that's been facing us?
Be honest with yourself. To thine own self be true. Be honest. What I'm saying about melanin, don't think of it as a superiority complex. Don't do to others what was done to you.
Right.
Understand that Dr. King was right. It is always, will always be the content of your character. Because we can say, well, melanated people acting a little crazy out here.
This is true.
So if melanin was all that great, they wouldn't act like that. It's the content of your first. Understand the beauty of your melanin. Understand the beauty that when you're in the warm climate, that your nasal index is going to be spread, your nose is going to be wide. You want that to be able to breathe in all that wonderful oxygen from all those green plants around you. Your lips are going to be thick because there's a simple scientific principle. Heat expands, cold contracts. You have rings coming in June, July. If that ring that you had on in the wintertime was tight, you're going to have to take that ring off. Because in the heat, your hand is going to swell. If in the summertime you had a ring that just fit you right, in the wintertime you have to put a guard on that because the cold is going to make your hand lose its thickness and it's going to become loose. And that's why I wrote Carbon Before Melanin. Because I was trying to drop the information in a way that anybody could read that book. Don't make a difference what your cultural background is.
Good. That's good.
See, there's no such thing as a white race. There's no such thing as a yellow race. Those are what's called ethnic stock. That's not a race. There's only one race. If an Irish man marries a Jamaican woman, that's not an interracial marriage. That's intraracial. It's intercultural. Because there's only one race. So to say inter means that there's two separate things that came together. There are multi-cultures, but there's only one race. And there's two ethnic stock. It is the original African stock or race, and out of that race morphed, mutated out of that Indo-Europeans. In science, the original African is called Grimaldi, and the European, Indo-European, is called Cro-Magnon. So the other thing I think I should say is that I always try to stay scientific.
Okay.
I stay away from emotion. I don't want to work people up emotionally. I want to drop the science on you.
Yes. One of our goals here at MelaNation, we're creating an app. We're funding this app that is an ecosystem for melanated users. Everyone is welcome on the app, but what we're doing is we're taking some of the proceeds of the app and we're reinvesting into our community. So there's a stimulus amount that we're promising on a monthly basis will go back into the community, and it's going through the hands of people that we vote in as our delegates. So they represent our interests.
Oh, excuse me.
So we're trying to bring everyone together under the guise of having the most advanced features in entertainment, school, education, in all different fields under one roof. But I want to ask you, what would be a good way to bring together our people so that we can be acclimated and we can be strengthened one another?
Let's do everything we can to bring young people into the mix. Young people are our future. If what we're doing is not about our children, it's not about our future. And if it's not about our future, we ain't gonna have one. Our children. As I've studied African traditional societies, not just in Africa, but around the diaspora, the ones that were able to sustain themselves were the ones that focused on doing everything they could in their generation to make it better for the children that were yet to be born. I have a 100-year plan. We have to think in terms of hundreds of years. I have a 100-year plan. I'll give you an example. I follow a science organization. And basically, give or take, every 100 years, they have a meeting. Many of them are not the same people that were at the original meeting. But what this group does, it lays out where they see everybody being in 100 years. And the last meeting that they had, I believe, was sometime like in the early 1900s. This was before TV, before radio. This was before the automobile moving as it did. No TV, and certainly not going into space. But since that meeting, 100 years later, when they had this meeting in the early 2000s, they had surpassed their wildest imagination. They had surpassed their wildest suggestions as to where the society would be in 100 years. We have to start asking ourselves, where do we see us Where do we see our children in the year 2126? Imagine that society. What do you see our people doing? What do you see our children doing? What do our neighborhoods look like? And we have to start to imagine and present concepts as to what we see. I'm doing a curriculum on AI. AI means ancestral intelligence.
I like that. Okay.
Because artificial intelligence is the artificial reality of what our ancestors lay out. There is nothing in artificial intelligence that our ancestors did not create back in their time. So it's important that we realize that AI is our ancestors talking to us. And the artificial aspect of it is what the Indo-Europeans are creating, because they fundamentally don't think on a natural level. They think on an unnatural level. They don't see themselves as nature. African folk, when you get down deep inside the African consciousness, they and nature are one and the same.
Mhm.
They make joke and fun of African nations that when they cut down a tree, they'll pray. They make fun that if they need to eat, and unfortunately they may have to sacrifice an animal, they will make sure that other animals are born to take the place of that particular animal, as they will plant a tree if they got to cut the tree down for whatever reason, make a house or whatever. And they try to put a name on it called animism. But the reality of it is that our ancestors understood that if you take something from nature, you must give something back to nature. Because that's what nature does all the time. In the wintertime, when it get cold, the leaves die.
Mm-hmm.
But the next spring, they come back.
Right.
So the concept of resurrection was always within our people's mind. Everything they did was connected to nature. It wasn't connected to things that are not part of the reality of the world around them. You see, religions are willing to believe in something that they ain't never saw.
Yeah.
Black folk believe in nature because they see it every day.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
So nature is what guides them. And when Africans, this is the work of Dr. Bruce Bynum, brilliant scientist, psychologist, educator. In his book, Dark Matters, Dark Light, he talks about how religions came about. And this is my other book, Spirituality Before Religions.
Yes, Ashe, that's a fantastic book.
Thank you, brother. When I wrote that book, I was trying to reach out. And again, I ain't putting Christians down. I ain't putting Hebrews down. I ain't putting Muslims down. I'm not putting Rosicrucians down. Zoroastri. Don't make a difference what your faith system is, because I know your scripture came from Africa. So if I put your religion down, I'm putting Africa down. And so what I attempted to do was to tell the story about where did spirituality come from? Where did the thought come in the human mind to image a force larger than themselves that brought things into existence? What Christians may call God, what Muslims call Allah, what Hebrews will call Yahweh. Before they were given names, and Africans, Twa and Mbuti, Khoisan, were in the fields, what was it that gave them that concept? Well, what is the cornerstone to every religion? and it is the resurrection of the soul. Resurrection. The life that you live on earth prepares you for the life that you will have once you physically get rid of this jet and you move on to the next level. So our ancestors, starting as hunter-gatherers, then becoming fisher people, then becoming agriculturalists. Well, by the time they got to becoming an agriculturalist, they looked down and they noticed that when a seed was put on the ground, that the earth absorbed it. And out of that absorption came the plant back up in the earth. That plant lived, it aged, it died, it decayed, and then next season it resurrected itself. That's where religion came from. It came from botanists.
Wow.
Because man plants the seed in the woman carries the child, let's put it on the human side, carries the child, and in 10 months, 40 weeks, it's born. The child lives, matures, ages, dies, decays, and then that's where resurrection of the soul came from. And that is what was translated into, from spirituality, it became religions. But then Indo-European, when they got a hold of that spiritual system, they created little gangs. They created a Christian gang. They created a Hebrew gang. They created a Muslim gang. Because they didn't understand the universality of the story. Religions are the children of spirituality. They were born of this concept of resurrection. What happens to you after you die? That's what you think about when you're alive. And so out of science, out of botany, came the concept of spirituality and then religions. So I don't put no religion down, because I can show you where the Christian Bible came from. And by the way, the Old Testament really is the New Testament, and the New Testament is the Old Testament. I talk about that in Shabaka Stone, which is the book that came after Spirituality Before Religions. Because
So how's the old new and the new is old?
Because they turned it around, because, again, like all things they touch, they contaminate it. So the reality of it is that what we today call Hebrew, some call it Jewish. Couldn't have been called Jewish because the letter J didn't exist in the alphabet until 1526. But be that as it may, I'll leave it alone. But what we today call Hebrew or Judaism was born during the 18th dynasty with Akhenaten. And that's the 18th dynasty. That's like 1300 BCE, 1350 BCE, somewhere in there. But out of that, something that preceded Atenism, which is what Judaism is, was Aminism. And that's what Christianity is. That is why you have a pope. The pope is the pharaoh, the Neset Biti. The cardinals are the high priests, the bishops. It's a taxonomy. It's categorized. That's what the Amen priesthood was. It was a categorized society. At the top was the pharaoh, Then you had the high priests.
Mhm.
Now, let me tell you what Indo-Europeans did, because they have a fear of their own women. Because in Africa, the truest Africans understood that to have a man, you must have a woman.
Ashe.
To have a god, you got to have a goddess. And they involved and had on equal footing, with no questions asked, the absolute psychological understanding that women were equal to men. They also understand that there is a difference between a feminine energy and a male energy. There's a
Ashe.
difference.
Mhm.
And it's a natural difference. It doesn't decide superior or inferior. It is just separate energy.
I took off for half a second. I was trying to download images of your information that you've put out, and when I loaded it in, it said that I could like have infringement. I need to get it off the screen, so I got it off the screen, and I went into my library to pull out the book physically. Okay, because this is a fantastic work. I actually have study guides, study groups. I know Tony Browder was saying that we need to always have those individual study groups at home. So that's what we did. We, as a group, read through this book, and this book is fantastic. And also in your biography, we mentioned these guys, the Hidden Color series.
Yes.
We
Yes.
made sure that we had all the Hidden Color series because, and I understand that there's been some differences in ideology in the last few years with Tariq Nasheed, but these films are fantastic.
They are.
And my very favorite, I'm directly a student of Jabari Ozazi, so Hidden
Okay.
Color 5. However, I am going to say that what you put out in Hidden Colors 2.
2.
Yes. This is the one that everyone, if you're going to watch one, this is the guy. This is the one in reference to the melanin
Yes.
and all the information that you put in reference to the melanin. And I just found it just eye-opening. So you are definitely appreciated.
Yeah, when I saw the Hidden Color videos, I'm thinking, this is a television, some kind of thing on television, but it's just videos. I'm like, wow, I wonder why it's not on TV.
Yeah. You know what's interesting is this thing that's coming up now as it relates to foundational Black American and Pan-African. And I believe there's people in between the two groups that's trying to start some trouble.
Yes.
The foundational Black American is a term that is basically lineage and legacy. It means that as an African person, you can trace your ancestry back to the 13 colonies. And that it is your lineage that built the economic system of America. I was part of I was young. My mother worked for the National Urban League. She was a secretary for the National Urban League. And my father was a member of the Mother AME Zion Church in Harlem. The pastor of that church was Reverend Benjamin Robeson, the brother to Paul Robeson.
Oh.
Also, it was the African Methodist Episcopal Church that bought the land that they settled, which today was taken from them, and it's called Central Park in New York.
Ah.
People call it Seneca Village, but it's not Seneca Village. It's Senegal Village, because it was named after Senegal, which many of us came from. Now, there were words in that language. I had a sister who spoke Wolof, and she told me that there are derivative words that are Seneca. And she said that has to do with indigenous people,
Mm-hmm.
which many of them were black. The Seneca people of the 5 nations. So that when we look at ourselves and we understand that who we are as a people, when I was young, my parents and I would picket and protest to bring African people from the diaspora to America. And in 1964, the Civil Rights Law broke civil rights. 1965 came the Voting Rights Act. When those two laws were passed in 1966, the immigration laws broke down. And that is what brought so many people from around the world to America. From Africa, from the Caribbean, from China. And they came here. And for every intention that they deserve, like I know on Labor Day in September, along Eastern Parkway in New York, they have a parade. It's called the West Indian Day Parade. And all the brothers and sisters come out with all the beautiful colors of their flag. You have the Trinidadian brothers and sisters. You have the Jamaican brothers and sisters. You have everybody. You have a Dominican Day Parade. You have a Puerto Rican, which is next week, the Puerto Rican Day Parade. And they all fly their flags. They have flags. My mother is from Boston. My father is from Alabama. What's my flag?
Good question.
Okay. You say, I'm Jamaican. I'm Puerto Rican. I'm Ghanaian. I'm Yoruba. Who am I? Who do I say I am? And what right does anybody have to say I don't have a right to claim to be a foundational Black American whose ancestors worked on the plantations? It's not a matter of better or worse. I'm a Pan-African. Every atom in my body is Pan-African. But I am a Pan-African that is foundational Black American. And so this is not an argument between Pan-Africanists and foundational Black Americans. Africans come from around the world and they embrace their culture, and they should. I respect you for being proud to be a Ghanaian or Nigerian or Somali or Eritrean from the Caribbean, Ecuador. You have a right to be proud of who you are. But my question is, who am I? Who do I say I am?
I'll say.
Because what people don't know about Minneapolis, white people got with Somali people, and they created grants for the Somali community with those child care centers. But those grants were for foundational Black Americans.
Right.
Now, let me tell you one other story. They are considered African American. And we say that we're African American. That's true. But Elon Musk is from South Africa. And he's an American citizen. He is an African American.
Right.
By law. But he has no ancestry that go back to the plantations that built this country.
Right.
Let's go with Barack Obama.
Lots and lots of challenges. We have, as far as an identity, we definitely have lots and lots of challenges.
That's right.
And there does seem to be, in the last few years, a type of dichotomy, like you were talking, saying that there is no, there shouldn't be any battle between, the FBA and the Pan-Africanism. It shouldn't be any. I mean, we're all the same. Fundamentally, we have the same goals.
It's made
You know?
up. It's made up to cause trouble between us.
Right? Exactly. It's the division.
And you know, the people in Minneapolis, the people that got all the money were the white people. The Somalis got a little crumbs from the table, but the people that made the big money in the grants, they were white.
And they do that a lot. There's a whole different language that we need to learn when it comes to law, court system, things like that, because the terminology determines everything. You know, terminology tells you if you're going to win the case or lose the case. It doesn't matter the stance. The stance itself is secondary to the terminology.
That's right.
And that's a horrible situation, because that's not in the ma'at. Ma'at will gauge the actual circumstance, not the language that you're communicating through. They've done a fantastic job of creating a lingo that sounds like the same words that we use on a daily basis mean something totally different.
That's right.
So they gather us in as minorities, and using those type of terms, we lose value as our community, because it goes out to Asians and it goes out to different people who are also included under that terminology, and we lose out.
That's it. That's it. I had a student in college, student of European descent, phenomenal student, wonderful young student, young woman. And her parents, years before, lived in Kenya. And mother got pregnant. This young lady was born in Kenya. When the parents' work or whatever they were doing finished, they came back to America. She was an American citizen. But she's considered an African American. She got a scholarship to go to college as an African American.
Yeah.
Yet none of her ancestors tilled the soil of the 13 colonies. I remember the work that we did to bring people from the diaspora, African diaspora, to America. I was young. And one of the people that we brought, his name was Barack Obama. And Barack Obama met a woman who gave birth to a man who would become the future president of the United States. I hold nothing against anybody. You have every right to go for everything you possibly can get. My point is, understand who we are. Because you are here because of our struggle. Immigrants did not build America. America was already built when immigrants came. And by the way, they came in 1870. They didn't come in the 1900s. They came in 1870, and they came in so that they could take the jobs that black folk were trying to get once they were newly freed in 1865.
Oh.
How do you think we can heal the rift?
Be honest. Be straightforward. And never lose what you're saying. I am a foundational Black American, but I'm a Pan-Africanist.
I love it. This is the first time I've heard that concept. It's a beautiful concept. And like I was saying earlier, you have the maturity of, from a person who's looking at from the outside in, beyond and past where a younger man would look and say, hey, I want to hold this stuff accountable, and I want to go hard in the street. But you have that maturity that I definitely appreciate. That so when I spoke, because I'm in the community, I'm in the conscious community, I'm in the committed community, so we've had the conversations. And for the most part, most people are saying, okay, there is a rift. right? That rift does, and they gave examples of reasons. And the thing is any rift, any division does not serve us as a community. And I definitely see that. And when I hear FBA, Foundational Black Americans, and the concept behind it, I'm in support of it as well. And but I do also hear some of the elders speak who are not 100% in support of, and it's not because of where we are today with the FBA, but they describe the evolution of how it came into practice and came into being and certain different things that came between. But I believe just the same way that the sentiments that you're saying, as far as we need to continue to build together and don't see it as a rift. We can say I'm FBA and Pan-African.
Yes, absolutely. And I am.
Right.
I am. I most definitely
May I
am.
ask a question?
Please.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
Oh, okay. I'm just all into what you're talking about, and a lot of this I'm not that familiar with, but now I feel that I need to get on board. But my question has to do with, earlier you were saying you need to love yourself. My thing is, do you think that some people have to be taught to do that? Because just saying you need to love yourself, people probably just, okay, well, how do I do that? What does that really mean? Is that something that can be taught? And we did talk about the youth, so why not start with the youth, teaching them about our culture and our history?
My sister, that is the cornerstone. Because remember when Malcolm said, "Who taught you to hate your lips and the texture of your hair and the width of your nose?" You didn't feel that way in Africa. You loved how you looked before you were put upon by invaders. So that when you get into the curricula, this is why they're banning books today. This is why they're attempting to dissolve the education department. Because they realize that as a people, if we really understood the beauty of being Black, if we understood what we have achieved.
Well,
you see, we go back to Kush and Kemet, and we talk about a classical African civilization. We go back to Wagadu, or Ghana, Mali, and Songhai, and we talk about a classical African civilization. But if you want a classical African civilization, let me take you back to the plantations of the South. Because them Black folk were classical. You want a classical African civilization? Let me take you back to the civil rights movement and to the human rights movement. See, we always think we got to go way in the past to see the greatness within us. I think of what our ancestors went through on the plantation. If that's not a Cinderella story,
whoa.
think of what our ancestors had to do to get us where we are today.
Right.
What kind of classical life did they have to live? Think about this also. This is a soliloquy that I do. I call it "Only the Best of the Best Could Have Survived." Think of being in your neighborhood, and your neighborhood is invaded, and they snatch you and put you in chains. And they walk you across Arizona to the coast of California. And all along, they are brutalizing you. Men, women, and children. And when you get to the coast of California, they put you in a pit, in a prison, on top of each other. Only the best of the best could have survived that. And then think of them taking you to a distant land that you had no idea where you were going on a boat. They put you in the bottom of the boat, on top of each other. Little food, little anything. Only the best of the best could have survived that. And then you get to your destination, they take you out. You don't even know where you are. People are speaking a language that you don't understand. And even the other people that they stole from you and put you in that boat, they don't speak the language you speak either. So you can't even talk to each other. Only the best of the best could have survived because we learned how to communicate with each other even under those conditions. And then once they take you to where where the destiny is, they treat you in a certain way, they dehumanize you, they make you less, they do what they do. Even though it's a horror story, only the best of the best could have survived that horror story. And think of fighting, learning how to talk, learning how to read, getting on this special thing called the Underground Railroad, and being able to find yourself the freedom. I'm going through all the phases of what has brought us here to be discussing this in June of 2026.
It's like being forged through a crucible.
That's it.
And over 400 years of that.
That's it. And yet here we are, still dealing with it. Yet, like Dr. Maya Angelou say, still we rise. What type of human being is that?
I think that America owes the people that survived those slave ancestors today. Just like in Germany, when they tried to kill all the Jewish people, they did a reparation, they paid for that. But nobody did anything for the Black Americans here. We didn't get anything. And some of those German people are still paying. They continue to do it because they almost killed a whole generation. But what did 400 years of slavery, what did that bring?
That's it.
They just said, forget about it, put a Band-Aid on it, move on.
That's it. You know, there was an and Sister Woody, I'm still answering your question. Think of this story that I saw where they kidnapped this man. This man owned a factory. And he was kidnapped. This was in New Jersey. This is a true story, by the way. And when he was kidnapped, he was put in a hole in the ground. And he was kept there by the people that kidnapped him. And the people that kidnapped him, they wanted to ransom, get money for him back. Long story short, eventually they found him. They found him after 28 days. They interviewed him. And they asked him, how are you? You know, what do you feel after 28 days? He said after the 5th day, he thought he was going to lose his mind. He said, I thought that everything was the worst. He said, I thought I was going to die. I thought about killing myself. I never thought I'd be free. And so my question is, if that's how he felt after 28 days, how should we feel after 400 years?
I say.
Think about that. And so, my sister Woody, I get back to your question about what do we do with our children. Present that concept of being enslaved as a classical African civilization. How many stories do we hear about somebody? Cinderella, okay? That's the story of Cinderella. She was always looked at as the worst. She was never respected. But at the end, she was the one that became the queen.
Mm-hmm.
The first shall come last and the last shall come first. And so what we have to present to our children is a different way of looking at being enslaved. And the one thing I never tell our children is that white people hate us. Because psychologically, for a child's mind, a child will ask, well, what did I do to make them hate us?
Mm.
I tell children, they fear you. Because then you are on the offense and they are on the defense. Because now the question is, well, who am I that they fear me?
Hmm.
And
I
we
see.
have to begin to set that into our children's minds. Because they've been taught that everything that's black is bad. Again, going back to Malcolm with the dictionary.
Right.
Everything black is bad. Even Muhammad Ali said, you got angel food cake that's white and devil food cake that's brown.
Yeah.
And so going back to love yourself, you have to know who you are. And this is why the first step in loving yourself leads to self-knowledge. Because when you love yourself, you want to know more about yourself. When you don't love yourself, you don't even want to look at yourself.
I see. And I've been looking into the terminology, the word black, and understanding why it was created. You know, understanding that it is a social construct. It's not anything in nature as far as a human being is concerned. And it was created specifically to suppress melanated people. There was no such thing as black prior to the slave trade. They invented that to say that these people are 3/5 of a human, but then in the terminology Negro, that's just still saying black in a different language.
Yeah.
The problem is not the name Negro or the language it's saying in. The problem is that it was constructed as a means to suppress melanated people. So no matter how you say it, no matter what language you say it in, it's still a system of oppression. And today we say it so frequently. And the reason why that is because it's now a term of endearment. But when it was created as a social construct, it was created as a means to suppress us. So I'm struggling with calling myself black. And for any reason, knowing that one, I'm a shade of brown. Two, it was created and it's initially created in order to suppress me. But in the 60s, we had this huge movement, I'm black and I'm proud, Black Power. And we turned that system of oppression into a term of endearment, the same as we did to the word Negro, which is the same word in a different language. So it's dawning on me that maybe it's time for us to choose our own terminology and call ourselves words that are actually terms of endearment for ourselves, like the original man or authentic person, anything that gives us the understanding that we are beautiful people without using the oppressive terms and changing it to a term of endearment. I think it's time for us to go beyond that step, because that's why we call this Post-Maafa. It's a statement declaring that we're no longer going to allow the suppression in the mindset of the oppressor to control our destiny. We're saying that we're beyond that point. You know, we understand that there's still systematic racism. We're not saying that that's done and over with, but what we're claiming is that we're stronger and we can proclaim our own future. And I believe personally, one of the ways that we go about doing that is stop using the oppressive terms. So just the word black is starting to offend me more and more, the more I'm educated about how it came about, even though now we're using it as a term of endearment.
Yeah.
You know, black doesn't exist. And I used to prove it to my kindergarten children, because we used to take out our crayons. And I would say, okay, take out your red crayon. And they take the red crayon out and they draw a line. And then I say, okay, take out your orange crayon. Draw a line over that. Yellow over that. Green over that. Blue over that. Indigo over that. Another indigo. And then purple. And then I'd ask him, what color do you see? And it's black. Because black isn't a color, it is a collection of all colors. And the only way that we could possibly take a human word and put it there, you see, because the word isn't bad, it's the social context in which it was put. Because nigger is not a bad word.
Exactly.
Nigger comes from negus, Inger. You have Nigeria, you have Niger, you have Mandingo, you have Angola. That NG sound, unga, unga, that creates a sound that brings forward a feeling through the body. Okay, it's a meditative word that vibrates the body to higher levels. So when you called someone unga, it brought a nice feeling to you, and to the person that heard it, it brought a nice feeling. The way I teach, like when I taught in my college classes, and I just teach it when I do radio programs, you can Google the origin of the word, the origin of the N-word. I begin by talking about a sacred symbol that was brought into India by the Kushites. And it was a sacred symbol that represented balance. Balance in the cosmos, balance on earth. And it was revered as a very sacred symbol. There was a Russian woman by the name of Helene Blavatsky that studied in Tibet. And she brought back many of the symbols of India, of which this was one of them, this symbol. And she introduced it to Europe. And there was a particular military man that saw that symbol. And he gravitated towards the sacred symbol, and he emblazoned it on his clothes, on the flags, on everything that dealt with this nation. Now, of course, he then took that symbol and tortured people using that symbol. So what was once a sacred symbol became contaminated by a demonic thinking person. I'm talking about Adolf Hitler. And the swastika, which is an African symbol that you can see throughout Africa.
I'll say.
The Akan weights, you can see it. You can see it in Egypt. You can see it all over the world. It's a sacred symbol. But when you take something that's sacred and you dirty it, you create a social status for that particular symbol. So that if I were in a room of Jewish people and I drew the swastika on, I'd have to get out of town. Because I am engendering in them memories of what happened to their people through that symbol. And that's what the word nigger is. Nigger was a sacred word that was dirtied by demonic acting people. And so when we hear that word, it reminds us of the pain and the torture that our people went through being called that. So that it's not what it is that's bad, it's how you use it. And as a people, we have got to be able to rise above that understanding psychologically and be able to express it like I expressed it to you.
I'll say.
The same way with FBA and Pan-African. We have got to be able to express our view, because I've spoken to people in UK, in the Caribbean, and I've explained my view of FBA. In fact, I don't even like to say FBA. I like to say Foundational Black Americans, because I'm not an abbreviated person. I'm not FBA. I'm a Foundational Black American. And so we have got to be able to rise above this and in a scientific manner be able to express ourselves.
I'll say.
So that people can take it in and understand what it is that we're saying. And say, and again, when I talk to young people about nigger, I say, look, let me tell you something. I am not encouraging you to use it. I'm not discouraging you from using it. I just want you to know the history of the word so that when the elders get upset with you,
right,
when you use that, you understand they went through pain with that word.
Right.
They remember the 50s and the 60s. They remember what they went through when they had to sit in the back of the bus, and when they could not go into restaurants, they could not go into hotels, that they were belittled and humiliated. So that when you use that word, understand what it means.
Ashe.
And the young people understanding the elders, I say to the elders, understand what that word means to them. Because they did not grow up in a generation that went through what the elders went through. And so that word was given to them by who? By the adults. They didn't invent that word. Somebody was saying that word around them as a child. And so they're repeating that word.
Ashe.
And even though you may not see it as a term of endearment, they do.
Ashe.
And so we all have to understand each other and be able to, going back to what you were saying, Brother Tahuti, we all have to begin to define, as you say, post-Maafa. We all have to reconstruct the world that we see for 100 years from now. That we don't get caught up in the emotion that we get caught up in.
I definitely stand corrected from what you've explained, and I can no longer claim that we turned any of these words into a term of endearment. I can't claim that because they originated as a term of endearment. So I definitely stand corrected.
It was a beautiful thing. Negus negusti, neter. That means God. That means spirit. That it's the sound. You see, Indo-Europeans don't know how to speak. Africans, even today with us as a people, okay, when we speak, we got flavor in what we say.
I say.
Okay, when something gets so good, it's bad.
Mm-hmm.
And when bad is better than bad, then we got to put an inflection in our voice. That's bad. Then when bad is better than bad, then we got to put our body into it. Yo, that's bad. You know, we have flavor in everything. Yeah. Language and sound means something to us. Okay, we just don't talk to be talking. We talk to communicate. We listen to understand, and we speak to be understood. And that one-to-one relationship between us as a people becomes very important. And that it has value. But what Indo-Europeans did is, through their grunts and groans, being introduced to such things as the alphabet and speaking and presenting yourself through words, they only did the surface of the word. But African people were attempting to explain to them, it's the sounds that you make that's important. I'll give you an example. The letter M in Meduneter, or hieroglyphics, is an owl. Okay? And the owl has come down to us as being wise. Potato chips. Okay, they got a commercial on TV. In order to take some type of medicine, you got to be wise. Wise all, and the word rhymes with wise all. Okay? There's a commercial on TV that sells glasses, and it's an owl. So when you wear glasses, you can see. But the owl is not the most intelligent bird. In fact, the owl ain't too intelligent at all. So why would our ancestors create a symbol that represents being wise using a bird that's not really that wise? Because you look at the attributes of the owl, and what an owl can do two things very special. An owl can turn its head around its body, which means that you can see all angles of things. Our ancestors thought that was very wise. Not to look at one thing one way, but to be able to look at it from all different angles to come up to your conclusion. And the other thing is that an owl is nocturnal. It can see in the dark, which means that you can see wisdom in darkness. You can take the sense out the nonsense.
I say.
You see? But let's take it one step further when you look at the letter M. Look at the sound that it makes. The letter M is the only letter in the alphabet where your mouth has to be closed. A, B, C, D, F, S, N. Your mouth is open. But To produce M, your lips have to be closed. But what happens when you close your lips and make that sound? You feel a little tickling in your ear. In the back of your head, you feel a little tickling. There's a tickling. Where that tickling site is right behind your olfactory bulb, where you get the sense of smell. But at that location, our ancestors built the Grand Lodge of Luxor. And in the Grand Lodge of Luxor, where they built it in the form of a human being.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get to that section of the Holy of Holies, where that particular area is found, it's called the Shittite Infant. SHTYTNTFND, 3 words. SHTYT, Shittite, Int, NT, Fint, FND. That was known as the sacred sanctuary, right behind your olfactory bulb. There's a book called The Temple in Man by R.A. Schwaller de Lubitz that you could read that will tell you about this. Where that tickling is located is where all of your 6 senses come together. And I know people say you have 5, but you have 6. Sight, sound, smell, touch, hear, think. Thinking is a sense. Where that's located, all of your senses sit in a pool of melanin and cerebrospinal fluid. And when you make that sound, those 6 senses percolate in melanin, neuromelanin, percolate. And that's what brings you down to higher order thinking skills and consciousness. This is why you have the sound, meditators use that sound to take them down into that sacred sanctuary that our ancestors knew about.
Yeah, when I read your biography, it said something about a book with that word in it, right? It was, maybe I should pull it up so I can be more clear.
Don't they use that sound in the opening of the way? Something similar to that?
Yes. And my sister, when grandma was getting into meditation, and when she was trying to get, what did grandma do in the rocking chair? She
yes.
So here in the biography, it says Northern Doom by Naru and
Yes.
Doom titled Om.
Om, yes. Those were rappers. Ghostface Killer. Those are rappers that took a presentation that I did when I was talking about this concept. And they literally used my voice to be part of the song. If you Google it, you know, if you can Google the Om by Neruvian Doom, you'll hear what I'm saying and what I'm doing, and they actually are using it in their rap song.
Neter, beautiful.
And you see, that sound and the letter M, well, let me ask you this. When something tastes good, what do you say? Okay. When you get a good idea, what do you say?
Things that make you go,
There we go. You see? Every one of your senses, when you're expressing it, you make that sound. The point I'm making is sounds in language. Okay? Indo-Europeans never got that sense of the importance. So when you make the sound inger, there is a positive vibration that comes forward from, that is why the letter N follows the letter M and why it looks alike. M is your 13th letter and N is the 14th letter in our 26 letter alphabet. It's the sounds that you make, not the words, the sounds. And we have to teach our people to study sounds, Because when you look at Medu Nete and you look at the letter A, you'll see a vulture. A vulture named Mut. The vulture makes a sound. The sound that the vulture makes, awk, awk, awk. So she became the symbol for the letter A.
Ashe. So let me ask you, as far as where you are now, and any production or any projects that you are working on going forward.
About what I'm doing now?
Yes, sir.
Well, let me encourage our community. If you'd like more information about the work that I'm doing, you can go to my website, www.kabakamene.com, KABAKAMENE.com. And that has all of my work. What you do is you put your email in, and Gumroad will send you a 6-day e-course. The first day you'll get the first class, Kaba Kamene. KABAKAMENE.
Oh, sorry. Let's
I
edit that.
definitely want that.
And the 6-day e-course is on spirituality. My community bulletin board, I use my Instagram page, which is at Kaba Kamene. I post things up. I do Instagram lives where I talk to the community. I just did one on reparations in education. And I also did a webinar. Yes, brother, that's it. You put your email in, and the first day of the e-course will come in the next 5 days. You'll get one class per day. But on that first day, you'll get the first day, and you'll get my study guide. And my study guide is a 44-page, so that if you want to know where I'm headed with my work, that study guide will tell you. It has lists of books. When I first did Hidden Colors 1 in New York, they premiered it. And Tariq Nasheed had ingeniously put the trailer on World Star Hip Hop. So if you know World Star Hip Hop and young people, that drew a lot of young people. But they didn't know what they were coming to see. They thought that World Star Hip Hop, Hidden Colors, that it was going to be, Nicki Minaj. They thought it was going to be, rap artists, Lil Wayne. But when they were there and they saw Hidden Colors 1, that blew their mind. And I stepped outside the movie house to talk and to greet the people, thank them for coming. And young people said, yo, you know something? I didn't know it was going to be like this. Like, where can I get more information on this? And I would give them something, but I realized that for some of us that got this information, they enjoyed Hidden Colors, but it didn't blow their minds. You knew a lot of what was in Hidden Colors. You just had never seen it the way Tariq gave it to us.
I say.
Okay? And so for those that had no idea, young people never heard nothing like this before, it blew their mind. And I realized that instead of always giving them one book to read, Chancellor Williams' book, Destruction of Black Civilization, John G. Jackson's work, Francis Cress Welsing's work, what I did is I put together I compiled all of my research, and I put it in the form of a study guide, 44 pages. And that's what you'll get on my first day.
Okay.
Free. It's one of my most valuable documents, but it's free. Because I've always believed that sometimes the most important things in life are free. I also wanted our community to be able to have access to it. And I didn't want to put a price on it. There are other things on my site that have a price. But those two things do not have a price. Because to me, they're priceless. Because for all those that may come after me, for those that I plan on living a long time, I would like to Methuselaize this, okay? So I'm not saying it like I'm going anyplace anytime soon. But I have a 100-year plan. I'd like to think that I'm going to live another 100 years.
Well,
But
that's
in case I don't, I want someone to be able to go to my website, pick up my study guide, and pick up where I left off, because that's the baton that I'm handing off to your generation
Yeah.
to pick it up and take it to the next level.
Yeah. That's what
Those that came before us did.
MelaNation's here for too. Same thing.
Ashe.
My sister, Woody, did I answer your original question?
I think so.
In terms of presenting us as
I have heard so much until I'm sure you did. I forgot what my original question was.
It was to tell somebody to love themselves. Like,
right.
How do you do it to young people? You know, it's easier said than done. Love yourself.
Mm-hmm.
But like, how do you do it?
Exactly. What is the process?
What's the process of self-love?
Right.
And that is to unravel what this society has done to our minds for us to hate ourselves. As Malcolm said, to hate the color of our skin, the texture of our hair, the width of our nose, the shape of our lips. Because we weren't like that when we were in Africa. We were not like that when we were in any part of the world. We didn't feel that way towards ourselves.
And I guess I was looking at it from the perspective of that can be taught.
Yes.
But, it can be taught. How do we start that process?
I think my study guide might be the first step.
Okay.
Because in my study guide, I've got sections that talk about the origins of life in Africa. I have a section that talks about the African origins in America, the African origins in Asia, the African origins in Europe, where I show that our existence didn't start in 1492. And that there are lessons, there are books that you can get that support what it is that I'm saying. One of the things that people comment about in terms of when I speak is I'll cite books. I just don't say things. I'll cite books where you can go get more information.
Good.
And so in my study guide, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's lists of books that deal with the African origins of humanity. Sheikh Anta Diop, John G. Jackson.
Ashe.
All the great scholars that came, Asa Hilliard, all the great scholars. The origins of Ethiopia, the origins of Kush Kemet. All the books, I listed them all. So that when young people come up to me and they say, yo, man, I saw Hidden Colors, man, but I mean, I never knew things like this before. What book would you recommend? I tell them, go to my website. I got a study guide for you. In whatever area you're interested in, they say, yo, man, Africans were in America? I never heard no idea of Africans being in America. Not only were Africans in America, they were here 100,000 years ago. Not only were they here 100,000 years ago, but there's a very good chance that the first people that peopled this continent peopled it from South America, in Brazil. The oldest fossils of humanity in the American continent is in Brazil. And chances are they were the Khoisan people. Now, what's the evidence of that? Off of the west coast of Angola, you have a current that's called the Benguela Current, Benguela. That Benguela Current leaves the southwest coast of Africa. There are three belts, one at the top, one in the middle. By the way, the one in the middle is where all your hurricanes come from. They leave the coast of West Africa and go right into the Gulf of Mexico. A current just takes that, and in the warm weather takes that wind and whips that wind around and takes it right up into and that's why most hurricanes will either hit the eastern side of the Florida Panhandle, or if it swings around in between Mexico and Florida, that's when Louisiana gets hit. That was Katrina.
Mm-hmm.
And it hits the Mississippi River because a hurricane lives on water. and it gets up into the mouth of the Mississippi River, and it rides up the Mississippi River and just does damage to either side. But to take you back to the south, there's a Benguela current that leaves the coast of Angola and goes right into the mouth of the Amazon River. And that's the one where Africans got on boats and didn't even have to have a paddle. That current would take them right into Brazil. And that was where the first human beings came 100,000 years ago. There's a book, First Americans Were Africans, by Dr. David Imhotep.
I'm going to start.
The Native American that we see here today, that's not the original Native American. That is the fifth migration of humans that came a couple thousand years ago from Asia. They were avoiding Genghis Khan and the Mongol invasions. So they traveled from Asia through Canada into America. That's the fifth migration, a couple thousand years ago. But 100,000 years ago, there was black folk in America.
Ashe, ashe, ashe. I will say this, that you have been a very fantastic special guest. I'm very honored to have you on here. And to be honest, the things that you've said have impacted me, and I have to reevaluate a lot of information, even though it was straightforward. I feel like I've been improved by this conversation.
I know I have.
And we've gone on a lot longer than we generally do for the Post-Maafa Reconstruction.
Because who wants to stop?
We wanted to get fed, continue to get fed, and it's been very beautiful. I believe once, because the Post-Maafa Reconstruction is not a very popular site at this point, but we are going to be releasing a super app, and that will be promoted, immensely promoted, and it will be global. And what I believe is that these constructive conversations will be reviewed for multiple different reasons. So the information that you gave is definitely going to go out to many, many ears. Before we end this session, can you please just speak to the audience, let the audience know what you're about or what's on your heart? Just speak directly to our audience, please.
My deepest feeling, first of all, brother, time to Africans is irrelevant. Time is a social construct.
Ashe.
And so when we get into the spirit, time doesn't even come into existence. And I've just thoroughly enjoyed having this conversation with you.
So
I mean, it's really been something I've looked forward to. And as we spoke weeks ago about this day, it has taken beyond what was my expectations. My expectations, it's gone beyond my expectations.
Beautiful.
It was, and I thank you for what you're doing and the work that you're doing to bring this information to our community and everything that you want to do. I am proud to be a part of the work that you're doing. All of us here. Okay. And I mean, it just becomes important that we all understand how powerful this is. But as we wrap this up, I do want to tell the community something that I want you to understand. As a cosmic thinker, because I'm into astronomy, I think cosmically. I don't think about yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I think of billions of years ago and billions of years yet to come. And I see where we're headed. Okay? We are not where we should be, but we certainly aren't where we used to be.
True.
Right. You see, don't overwhelm yourself by doing something that is not within your divine time to do. But if you just keep on keeping on, our ancestors on the plantation, those classical Africans, they knew that they would not be free. They knew in their lifetime, they themselves would not be free. But there was something divine that touched them. And it was the realization that if they just kept on doing what they were doing, somebody would be free.
Mm-hmm.
not in their time, but in divine time.
Right.
When they thought that thought, they gave birth to us.
Ashe.
And don't ever forget that. Understand what our ancestors did. They did not bring us this far to leave us like this.
Right.
And also to understand it's going to be all right. Dr. King was right. We have difficult days ahead. We've had difficult days, but there's no one on the planet more prepared to deal with this than us.
Right.
True.
And I want our children, my sister Woody, to go back to your question. I want our children to understand this. It's going to be all right. Don't let what you see out here make you think that this is what it is. This is happening to fine-tune us. They have shaped a superior people in us.
Mm-hmm.
Because everything that we've had to go through, what didn't kill us made us stronger. And still we rise.
Ashe.
So know that. And just keep on keeping on. And another thing, I have good news and I have not so good news. The good news is Dr. King was right. We are going to make it to the promised land. The not so good news, a lot of us ain't going to make it. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to convert the unconvertible.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
You know, you want to start a roaring fireplace. You have 12 logs. All I want to do is light the first log that's closest to me and put it in the fireplace. That first log will light the second log, the second to the third to the fourth, on down to the 12th. Pretty soon you have a roaring fireplace, but you only lit the log that was closest to you.
Mm-hmm.
Ashe.
Because if I had reached in there to get all 12, I would have burnt myself.
Mm-hmm.
Don't burn yourself. Live your life, enjoy your life. The Creator has put us here to enjoy our life. Enjoy it. Enjoy good food, good dance, good clothing, good companionship. Enjoy life.
Yeah.
Because once this is what it is, you're moving on to a higher level.
Ashe.
Yeah. And I always felt that we're here to help each other. We are here. That's it.
So
Which goes back to your question.
Let's enjoy that.
I'm sorry, say that again.
Lizzie?
No, I'm saying let's enjoy each other.
Absolutely.
Ashe.
Enjoy the moments that we have together.
Yes, those
And it
sentiments.
goes back to what you had said earlier about community. What is our relationship to community? It is in reinforcement. And wherever you have the word re, you have ra.
Ashe, creation.
So you used the word earlier about not in terms of thinking about things. You said that you re what? You said earlier about things that you thought about today's presentation and that you re something.
Remember,
No. It was like you're going to re-look at something. You're going to look at something in another way.
Be like that owl. Look at it a different way.
You know, wherever you have the word re, it comes from ra, and ra means spiritual. So when you remember,
Ashe.
you go back to remembering through the spirit. You know, wherever you have the word reevaluate, you evaluate again through ra.
Oh yeah, that's right. Reevaluate.
Okay. So whenever you have that word re, it means you're going to do it again. Respect. You know, spec means to look, and re means to be spiritual. So respect means to look at somebody through the Creator's eye.
My teacher, Himtepi Jabari Ozazi,
That's my brother.
he talks about remembering through Asar. right? He talks about remembering Sankofa,
Mm.
being that Asar is the first Sahu, a mummy. His body parts was taken apart, and they had to reconnect his members. So he talks about remembering as in reconnecting to yourself.
Absolutely.
Ashe.
Absolutely. And after you connect to yourself, then you connect to other people. Because chapter 43 talks about, the chapter of not letting the head of one be carried away from them in the next world. Says, I am the great one, son of the great one. I am fire, the son of fire, to whom was given his head after it had been cut off. The head of a saw was not taken from him. Let not the head of a saw or knee be taken from him. I've knit my bones together.
Ashe.
I've made myself whole and sound.
Mm-hmm.
I have become a saw, the Lord of eternity.
I mean, our people culture is just so beautiful, and I just appreciate it. And every single time I get into the Medunetter or just the culture of our people, I'm just proud to be who I am. I'm proud to be part
That's
of that legacy.
that's it. A picture speaks 1,000 words. A symbol speaks 1,000 pictures. Meduneter is symbolic. You can walk into a temple with one symbol of Medunetta,
Mm-hmm.
and it's biology 101,
Ashe.
and that's Ankh.
Ashe.
One symbol means many things. A picture speaks 1,000 words. A symbol speaks 1,000 pictures.
Pictures.
So
Fantastic.
I see in the hieroglyphics the kings having the Ankh, but what did the queens have?
Ankh,
Right.
Okay, I guess
Okay.
I never noticed. Okay.
Ankh, yes, same. Um, the Ankh on a man would be the male energy, and the Ankh with the female would be a female energy.
Okay.
The Ankhs were equal, but they came at you differently.
Mm-hmm.
Because aren't we both man and woman by nature of having a mother and a father?
Ashe.
And it was
This
my
is true.
daddy's Y chromosome that made me a male energy and made my sister, he gave my mother the X chromosome, which made her a female energy.
Mhm.
But we both carry the same equal.
Hmm.
When we get to the point, family, when we as brothers understand what we did that dismantled the old kingdom, was when we removed our sisters from their throne through believing that might makes right,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to realizing in the cosmos,
That's balance.
right makes might.
Ashe.
And I tell
Ashe.
my sisters, don't wait for a man to put you on your throne. Take a seat on your own.
Right.
Ast.
That's it. She represents royalty.
Ashe.
And that is the Madonna and child. That is Heru suckling at Aset's breast. Him sitting on her lap is not just a child suckling at the mother's breast. It is the sustenance and nurturing that the woman gives to the man in order for him to rule. We had a term for her. Brother Mfudishi introduced it to me, Jehudamus.
Mm-hmm.
Men were called Neset Biti, the one who has the right to rule. But the women were called Hemet Neset Waret.
Hmm.
Hemet, Neset, Waret, in terms of the sounds of the words. Hemet Neset Waret, when you look at the metaphor, it means the deep well of water that I go to when I'm parched by the desert. Now, I had a tour in 2024 in Egypt, Kush Kamene. And I know Jabari does tours. People don't understand what it is to be parched. They thirsty, but they're not parched. Parched is when you're in the desert and smoke be coming out your mouth. You're parched by, and when you are parched by the desert, there's only one thing you're thinking about. And there's only one thing that will bring you satisfaction. And that's water. And to think that we as men viewed and women viewed themselves, the feminine principle, as the deep well of water that we go to when we're parched by the desert, tells you metaphorically how we felt towards women. Our women not only were equal, but when we had been drained by the energy of life, she brought us back to life like Aset did Asar. She's not only just water, she's not just a well, she's a deep well of water, which means that whatever problem a man has, even a woman has, the female energy will solve that problem. And the reason why we're in the position we're in today is because we forgot that most important lesson of who the woman was in the creation of the society. You don't need no rules to make women equal. They were born equal. And once we sit on the throne together, we'll solve this issue right away. Dr. Francis Cress Welsing said one of the greatest fears that they have is black love.
And you know, when you guys said Ast, the thing that popped in my mind was Hawthorne. I don't know what positions they have or what they do, but Hawthorne, is that Kemet? Or is that
Which is that? Which word did you use?
Hawthorne? Hawthorne. Hawthorne.
Har, H-A-R?
Yeah.
I don't know. You schooling me.
AW?
Maybe that's not Kemet. That's the other people.
Ast Ra Nomi. Ast represents the feminine energy. Ra is light and heat. And Nomi is to know. Ast Ra Nomi, astronomy, is to know the female energy of light and heat that brings life to the planet.
I think she was referring to Hathor, which is the Greek version of Het Heru.
Oh, Het Heru?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yeah, Queen Mother. Yes.
Okay.
Interesting. A lot of stories about her.
And
Hathor.
so,
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I understand what you said now.
so she's Greek, but what is it in Kemet? Her
Het
name?
Heru.
Het Heru. Okay.
Yes. When you go into the temple of the 18th dynasty, Hatshepsut, you can see that the horns of Het Heru, she's suckling at the breast of the cow, which is symbolic, which means she's being nurturing and she's being sustained by the cosmic energy of Het Heru, the Queen Mother, the cow horns. Just like Ast or Aset has the throne on her head, Het Heru has the horns.
Yes, indeed. So let's go ahead and conclude our session here. This has been a great time. And I just want to thank everyone who does pull this up and watch this session. I'm sure you've received some great jewels, and I've enjoyed myself tonight. So I'd just like to say thanks for watching. See you again. We're here every Wednesday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. In the meantime, in between time, reach out to us on Facebook under MelaNation App.
Right. And I want to say one last thing. We must have you come back again.
Absolutely.
No doubt. No doubt.
We'll definitely keep everyone posted in reference to what's going on with the launch of the app. And this is going to be a super app. And we definitely want to be part of the community and the community be part of us as well.
Right.
Ashe?
Ashe.
That being said, I want to say, Jim and Ma'at, go forth and balance.